Hi there, and welcome once again to Birding with David. Today, I'm going to talk about a question I get a lot from beginning birders, and that's birding by ear. Listening to the bird calls, identifying the bird calls specifically to that individual species. It takes time. It's one of those things that's not easy. Most of us are not born and gifted with a musical ear, that is where we can hear something once and memorize it. Most of us has to learn by memory, by rote, by repetition, and that's the key to it. Some people say, do you listen to CDs? Do you memorize them that way? To be honest, in the past I have, and it works to a certain degree, maybe for one or two species at a time, because you can easily get overwhelmed and frustrated, especially if you're just starting out and trying to identify birds by their calls or their songs. For example, here I am at Blinkhorn Nature Park in Metchosin near Victoria, British Columbia, and during the half-hour walk, about a half-kilometer walk around the park, without using my binoculars once, I recorded 21 species of birds. I'm not mentioning that to boast or anything about that, but it does show you that in early spring, you're starting to see a trickle of northbound migrants from the south, and also resident birds that are starting to set up breeding. So behind me, the lake, you probably can't point them out or see them right now, but there are two buffleheads, which is a type of duck, and two ringneck ducks. The ringneck ducks, the buffleheads, as soon as I started recording this video, started calling. They've since stopped while I'm doing this, but in the background, there's common birds like purple finches, chestnut-backed chickadees, American robins. There's a couple of red-winged blackbirds on territory. I came here today hoping to get an early spring migrant such as a common yellowthroat. And that common yellowthroat is important to me for my eBird year list. I've mentioned eBird before, which is a fantastic resource. It's the future of birding. It came out about almost 10 years ago now, but it's really exploded in popularity over the last 2 years. And I myself, getting back into things in the last couple of years, have really become addicted to the social media side of it, the ability as a citizen scientist, so to speak, to contribute to the overall database. This is not a heavily birded park, probably one of only 1 or 2 or 3 birders that have actually even been here on a regular basis. Raven just called, by the way, if anybody with sharp ears in the background can hear that. But it's always important, getting back to the ear birding points that I was making, is learning by repetition. Learn the common birds. You've heard me mention this before, but really learn the common birds, like the song sparrow in the background, the widespread species across North America. They sound different in different parts of North America, but they pretty much have a very similar note system. Individual males have multiple songs, but that's another story. But the notes themselves are pretty much the same and very similar. But learning those common birds is key, and how you do that is locate a bird that's singing. Take a bit of time, it makes a bit of hunting, find an open area. It's hard in a forest like this with a lot of canopy, but get to an open area like this and find a bird that's out in the opening, especially a singing male on territory, and watch the bird sing. Look at the eye of the bird. It sounds silly, but it helps your memory part of your brain to learn those calls and to remember the visual aspect as well as the auditory. The combination for me really works well, because if I hear a bird and I'm watching the bird singing or calling, I then have a permanent record if I can call back on that. Okay, what does it sound like? What did it look like when it was singing? Had its mouth open? Then you can start to get a visual memory in addition to your auditory. And it sounds crazy. Why would you use visual with sound? But it really is a great tip. Thank you for visiting Birding with David. Look forward to talking to you in the next video.